My name is Sarah Mitchell. I am 34 years old, and today I am undergoing the most challenging surgery of my life. The man lying on the operating table is my father, who told me 15 years ago, "You will never become a doctor, you are too weak and too emotional." Now, I am doing everything in my power to save his life, but the little girl inside me is still asking, what if I fail? If you've ever tried to achieve your dreams without any family support, please let me know where you're watching this in the comments and don't forget to like it. Now, let me tell you how this story began. I grew up in one of Chicago's northern neighborhoods. My father, Robert Mitchell, was a life insurance agent. My mother, Linda, was an elementary school teacher. From the outside, we seemed like a pretty normal middle class family, but I felt different from a very young age. When I was 8 years old, our neighbor's cat was hit by a car. While all the other kids were crying, I ran over to the cat and checked to see if it was breathing. I didn't know anything back then, but instinctively I tried to calm the injured animal. When the vet arrived, he told me that my first aid had saved the cat's life. That night, I told my dad, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. My dad was watching the news on TV and replied without looking up. Being a doctor is a very difficult profession, Sarah. You're more of a teacher type. When I turned 10, I brought up the conversation again. This time, my father was a bit more serious. Sarah, medical school is very expensive. We can't afford it. Plus, you're a very emotional child. Doctors can't be emotional. But I didn't give up. I always got the highest grades in science classes at school. My biology teacher, Mrs. Thompson, always praised me. In 11th grade, she even said, "Sarah, you should definitely study medicine." I've never seen a student with such natural talent. When I shared these compliments at home, my father's response was always the same. Teachers say nice things, but real life is different, Sarah. If you're a girl, you'll get married and have children. Then your medical career will be over. By senior year, it was time to apply to universities. I had secretly applied to prestigious medical schools like Johns Hopkins, Harvard, and Stanford for pre med programs. I scored 1580 on the SAT. I was state champion in chemistry and biology. When the acceptance letters started coming in, I received a full scholarship offer from Johns Hopkins. I ran to my father. "Dad, I got a full scholarship to Johns Hopkins. I can study medicine." My father took the letter, read it, and put it on the table. "Sarah, this is a huge mistake. You don't know how hard this is. Male students are more successful in medical school. You won't last a year. And then what will you do?" "But Dad, this is my dream." "Dreams and reality are different things, Sarah. I want what's best for you. Study nursing. It's more suitable for you." That night, I talked to my mom. She always supported my dad. "Sarah, your dad is an experienced man. Maybe he's right. Nursing is a nice profession." But I didn't give up. I went to my dad and tried one last time. "Dad, I can do this. Please give me a chance." My father stood up, looked me in the eyes, and said these words I will never forget. "Sarah, you will never be a doctor. You are too weak, too emotional. You will faint in an operating room. You will cry for days when a patient dies. This profession is not for you. I am telling you for the last time, study nursing." At that moment, my heart broke. The thing an 18-year-old girl needed most was her family's support. I was getting the exact opposite. The next day, I went to school and told my guidance counselor, Mr. Davis, what had happened. He was surprised. "Sarah, you're one of the brightest students at this school. Getting a full scholarship to Johns Hopkins is a huge achievement. Talk to your parents again." I did, but my father is adamant. "Well, what do you want to do?" At that moment, I made the most important decision of my life. I'm going to be a doctor, even if my family doesn't support me. Mr. Davis smiled. "Then I'll help you. You can get a student loan. You can also work part time to support yourself." When I got home, I told my father my final decision. "Dad, I'm going to Johns Hopkins. I'll take out a student loan, I'll work, but I'm going to be a doctor." My father's face turned bright red. "Do you know what you're saying? You're an 18-year-old kid. You can't make that decision." "I can, and I am." "Fine, but you'll be on your own. Don't expect any support from us." After that night, my relationship with my father deteriorated. My mother sided with him, so I started to distance myself from her as well. In September 2008, I started a pre-med program at Johns Hopkins University. On my first day when I moved into the dorm, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness, seeing the other students' families supporting them. My family hadn't even come to the airport to see me off. My roommate Emily Watson was from Boston. Emily, whose parents were doctors, was very lucky in that regard. When she said my family has supported me in becoming a doctor since I was little, I realized how valuable that support was. The first semester was very difficult, the course load was heavy, but the real challenge was financial hardship. In addition to student loans, I worked part-time at the campus library. On weekends, I waited tables at a nearby restaurant. At the end of my first year, my grades were very good. One day, when Emily's family came to visit, I called my father while watching their happiness. Dad, I finished my first year successfully. My grades are very good. Oh, Sarah, that's good. Uh, is that all you have to say? Sarah, you are walking the path you chose. Your success and failure are yours alone. This cold response hurt me deeply, but it also made me more determined. After successfully completing my 4 years of pre medical education, I was accepted into Johns Hopkins Medical School. This time, I had received a full scholarship. My success had caught the attention of the academic staff. On my first day at medical school, Dean Dr. Richardson gave a speech. This is not an easy place. However, those who are truly determined will succeed. Your family's support is very important during this process. Family support, those words had a profound effect on me because I was experiencing the exact opposite. The first year consisted of basic medical courses, anatomy, physiology, pathology. Each course was more difficult than the last, but I saw every challenge as an opportunity to prove my father wrong. When I saw our cadaver for the first time in anatomy class, I was a bit affected, but I didn't faint or cry. On the contrary, I saw it as an opportunity to learn. Dr. Stevens, our anatomy professor, called me over. Sarah, I want to ask you a question. Why do you want to be a doctor? I want to help people, and I know I can do it. What does your family think about that? That question was difficult to answer. My family doesn't support me. Dr. Stevens was surprised. What do you mean? My dad thinks I can't be a doctor. He says I'm too emotional. What do you think? I believe in myself, and I'm proving that I'm not emotional in front of you. Dr. Stevens smiled. Sarah, you are a very talented student. Being emotional is not a disadvantage in medicine, it's an advantage. You need to be able to empathize with your patients. Those words made me feel better. At least one person understood me. The third year rotations had begun. My first rotation was in general surgery. I was on Dr. Michael Anderson's team. Dr. Anderson was one of the strictest surgeons in the hospital. My first operating room experience was an appendectomy. My heart was racing as I entered the operating room, but when I remembered my father's words, "You'll faint in the operating room," I became even more determined. The patient was Marcus Thompson, a 16-year-old boy. His family was very worried. Before the surgery, I told Marcus's mother, "Don't worry, Dr. Anderson is very experienced." When the surgery began, I saw the internal organs of a living human being for the first time. Yes, it was impressive, but I didn't feel like I was going to faint. On the contrary, I was mesmerized. Dr. Anderson asked questions during the surgery. Sarah, what is the normal position of the appendix? Under the cecum, at the McBurney point? Right. Where do you see signs of infection in this patient? I looked carefully. There is slight redness around the appendix, but it hasn't perforated. Excellent observation. The surgery was a success. Marcus's family was very happy. At that moment, I realized that this was my calling. As my father had said, I wasn't emotional. On the contrary, I was able to act in a very logical and focused manner. That night, I called my father, "Dad, today I entered the operating room for the first time. How was it?" Great, I didn't faint. I didn't cry. On the contrary, I was very successful. My father was silent. Then he said, "Good then," and hung up the phone. This cold response saddened me, but I was starting to get used to it. In my fourth year, I had to choose a specialty. I had decided to go into cardiac surgery. It was one of the most difficult and prestigious fields in medicine. Dr. Patricia Hayes was the head of the cardiac surgery department. She was surprised when I applied. Sarah, cardiac surgery is a very difficult field. Female surgeons are in the minority. Are you sure? I'm sure, Dr. Hayes. I want to prove myself in this field. What does your family think?
The same question again. My family doesn't really support me. Dr. Hayes frowned. That's strange. You're a successful student. My father thinks I'm emotional.
Are you emotional? I can empathize with my patients, but it doesn't affect my work. Then there's no problem. I'm accepting you into the program.
I was so happy when I found out I had been accepted into the cardiac surgery program. I immediately called my father. Dad, I got into the cardiac surgery program.
Cardiac surgery? You? Yes, me. Why are you surprised? Sarah, heart surgery is a man's job. How are you going to do it? This reaction made me very angry. Dad, this is the 21st century. Female surgeons are very successful. We'll see, Sarah. We'll see.
And he hung up.
The heart surgery residency program lasted 5 years. During that time, I worked 80 to 100 hours a week. Exhaustion, stress, constant pressure to learn.
But I saw every challenge as an opportunity to prove my father wrong. In the first year, I mostly observed. Dr. Jennifer Walsh took me under her wing as a mentor. Dr. Walsh was a 45-year-old, highly successful female heart surgeon.
Sarah, she said one day, why did you choose heart surgery? I want to heal people's most vital organ. Does your family support you? I was tired of that question. No, my father thinks I won't be able to do it. Dr. Walsh looked at me seriously. Sarah, family support is important in this field, but you seem strong. I am strong, Dr. Walsh, and I will prove my father wrong. In my second year, I started assisting with simple heart surgeries. My first bypass surgery was on a 65-year-old patient named Robert Paulson. He had suffered a heart attack and needed emergency surgery.
Dr. Walsh asked me during the surgery, Sarah, where will you place the bypass graft?
The left anterior descending artery is blocked. I will use the internal mammary artery for the bypass. Correct. Now show me.
My hands were shaking, but I was determined. It was the first time I had touched the human heart. The feeling was indescribable. The surgery was a success. Mr. Paulson's family thanked us profusely. At that moment, I knew that this was truly my calling.
In my third year, I began participating in more complex surgeries, heart transplants, congenital heart diseases. Every successful surgery increased my confidence.
Dr. Hayes called me over. Sarah, you are a truly talented surgeon. Would you like to join our research project?
Of course! I was researching new treatments for heart disease. My first article was published in the American Heart Journal. I shared this success with my father. Dad, my first scientific article has been published. Oh, good. Good luck. His cold response no longer surprised me. In my fourth year, I started performing surgeries on my own. Dr. Walsh was supervising, but I was now the lead surgeon. My first solo surgery was on a 42-year-old teacher named Jessica Martinez. We were going to perform a mitral valve replacement.
Before the surgery, Jessica's husband David was worried. Doctor, you look very young.
Mr. Martinez, it's not age that matters, it's experience. I know your wife's condition very well.
But you're a woman?
And I'm a very successful surgeon. Don't worry. The surgery lasted 4 hours. Everything went according to plan. Jessica's new valve was working perfectly.
After the surgery, David came in. Doctor, I'm so sorry, you're amazing.
Thank you, your wife will recover.
When I finished my 5 years of specialized training, I graduated from Hopkins as a heart surgeon. I was first in my class.
I had received a job offer from the Mayo Clinic. It was one of the most prestigious hospitals in the United States. My father and mother also came to the graduation ceremony. It was the first time they had seen me at a ceremony. Dean Dr. Richardson mentioned me in his speech. This year's most successful graduate is Dr. Sarah Mitchell. A bright future in heart surgery awaits her. I looked at my father's face. He looked proud for the first time, but he still didn't say anything. After the ceremony, I went to my father. Dad, what do you think?
Good job, Sarah, you did it. Is that all?
What do you want me to say? An apology. Maybe, for not supporting me all these years? My father stiffened. Sarah, I wanted what was best for you. You chose a difficult path.
And I succeeded. Yes, you succeeded, but you're just getting started.
This conversation angered me, but I no longer needed my father's approval. In 2016, I started working at the Mayo Clinic. I was on Dr. Robert Chen's team. Dr. Chen was a world renowned heart transplant surgeon. The first few months were tough. A new environment, a new system, new colleagues. But I was overcoming every challenge. My first major case was an 8-year-old boy named Tommy Williams. He had a congenital heart defect and needed a transplant. Tommy's family was very anxious. His mother, Karen, seemed particularly tense. Dr. Mitchell, she said, Tommy is our only child. Please save him. Don't worry, Mrs. Williams. We'll do everything we can. Tommy's surgery lasted 8 hours. Dr. Chen and I worked together. Everything went according to plan. The new heart was working perfectly. After the surgery, Tommy's father, John, shook my hand. Dr. Mitchell, you saved our lives. Those moments were worth everything to me.
In 2018, a very complex case came in. A 52-year-old businessman named Michael Davis was in very serious condition due to multiple heart diseases. Other hospitals said he was inoperable, but I had a different technique in mind.
I explained the situation to Dr. Chen. Can I do this case? Sarah, this is very risky. The failure rate is high, but I can do it. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I spoke with Michael's family. His wife Linda was very worried. Doctor, the other doctor said it was impossible. Mrs. Davis, nothing is impossible. I'm proposing a new technique. What are the risks?
I had to be honest, the risks are high, but if we don't do it, we'll lose Michael.
The family agreed. The surgery lasted 12 hours. It was the most difficult surgery I had ever performed. But we succeeded. Michael's heart was beating again. This success made a big splash at the hospital. It was featured in the local newspapers. Young female surgeon achieves the impossible.
I called my father to tell him the news. Dad, it's in the paper.
I saw it. Congratulations. Is that all? Sarah, one successful surgery doesn't define your entire career. His reaction hurt me deeply, but I had already stopped waiting for my father's approval. By 2019, I had earned a respected position at the Mayo Clinic. After the success of the Michael Davis case, I began to be referred more complex cases. But the real big opportunity came from an unexpected source. Dr. Chen came into my office one morning. Sarah, I have some important news for you. You've been offered the position of assistant department chair at Johns Hopkins. At first, I couldn't comprehend the words Johns Hopkins.
Yes, being assistant department chair at 31 is a huge achievement. You should take this offer seriously.
This offer would change my life. Johns Hopkins was where my childhood dreams began. Now I would return there as a successful doctor. That evening, I called my father, unable to hide my excitement in my voice. Dad, I've been offered the position of assistant department chair at Johns Hopkins. There was silence on the phone. Then my father's astonished voice. Johns Hopkins, really?
Yes, Dad, it's a huge achievement to get this position at 31. Sarah, this is really big.
For the first time, I thought I heard pride in my father's voice, but I still wasn't entirely sure. In early 2020, I returned to Johns Hopkins. I had come there as a student 13 years ago, and now I was returning as the assistant department chair. The irony couldn't have been greater. On my first day, Dr. Hayes greeted me. Welcome, Sarah. It's great to have you here. Thank you, Dr. Hayes. It's very special to be back. You honored this institution as a student. Now you honor it as a doctor. My new office was exactly the room I had dreamed of when I was a student. It was filled with books and had a window overlooking the campus. As I sat at my desk, I remembered the moment when the 18-year-old girl told her father, I'm going to be a doctor. During my second month at Johns Hopkins, a very special case came in. Emma Parker, 14, had undergone numerous surgeries due to a congenital heart condition, but now she was their last hope. Emma's condition was critical. Her heart was so damaged that a transplant was her only option. But because of her age and condition, she was very low on the transplant list. I spoke with her family. Her mother, Susan, cried, Dr. Mitchell, Emma is my only child. She's 14 years old. Her life is just beginning.
Mrs. Parker, the situation is difficult, but it's not impossible. There is an alternative method.
What kind of method? We can completely repair Emma's heart and restore its function. It's very risky, but we have a chance.
The surgery was so complex that we spent 3 weeks planning it. There were only 3 similar cases in the literature.
The surgery lasted 12 hours. We essentially rebuilt Emma's heart. When we succeeded, everyone in the operating room applauded. Emma's family was so grateful. But what really mattered was that we gave hope to other desperate families. This case was featured in the national news Miracle at Johns Hopkins, 14-year-old girl's heart reborn. My father called me after seeing Emma's story on TV, but this time his voice sounded different.
Sarah, I saw it on the news. This is incredible.
Thank you, Dad.
No, Sarah, I mean it. You are doing extraordinary things.
I wasn't expecting to hear those words, and my eyes filled with tears. Dad, Sarah, I made a mistake, a big mistake. What do you mean?
I never supported you. I always held you back. But you've surpassed me.
It was the first time I had ever heard my father say those words. Dad, why are you saying this? Because I have to admit it now. You didn't just become a doctor, you became an amazing doctor. And I was wrong. This phone call was the moment I had been waiting for years. After Emma's case, international invitations started coming in. My first big invitation was from the Royal College of Surgeons in London. I gave a lecture in London on innovative approaches in pediatric heart surgery. The 800-seat hall was packed. After the speech, Professor Richard Davies came up to me. Dr. Mitchell, your technique is revolutionary. We want to publish your article in the Lancet. An article in the Lancet, it was the most prestigious journal in the medical world. Of course, I accept, Professor Davies. I called my father in London. Dad, my article is going to be published in the Lancet. What is the Lancet? It's the most prestigious medical journal in the world. Dad, having an article published there is a huge honor.
Wow, Sarah, you've really made it big.
In 2021, I went home for Thanksgiving for the first time in years. My father met me at the airport. I'll never forget the look of pride on his face. Welcome home, Dr. Sarah Mitchell, he said with a smile. My mother had prepared a big meal at home. During dinner, my father talked about me constantly. Sarah is now the assistant department chair at Johns Hopkins. She performs the most difficult surgeries in the world.
These compliments sounded very strange to me. These were the words I had longed to hear for years.
After dinner, when I was alone with my father, I asked him, Dad, why did you change?
What do you mean?
You didn't support me before. Now you're praising me. My father took a deep breath. Sarah, I was afraid. What were you afraid of? Of seeing you fail, of seeing you sad. That's why I wanted to discourage you from the beginning.
But I could have succeeded.
Yes, I see that now. You surpassed me, Sarah. I was thinking small. This confession was the moment I had been waiting for years. In 2022, I set my sights on bigger goals. I started researching gene therapy for heart disease. This field was still very new. We started working with Dr. Jennifer Walsh from Harvard Medical School. Our goal was to treat heart disease at the genetic level. Our first attempt was successful in the laboratory. We were able to repair damaged heart cells. This work was published in Nature Medicine. It made a big splash around the world. My father read the article. Sarah, you are no longer just a doctor, you are a scientist. These words made me very happy. My father finally understood me. In the fall of 2022, a very special case came in. Carlos Ramirez, an 8-year-old boy, was waiting for a heart transplant, but no compatible donor could be found. Carlos's family had come from Mexico. They didn't speak English and were desperate.
His father, Miguel, said, Dr. Carlos is my only son. Please help us.
I replied in Spanish, Vamos a hacer todo lo posible. We will do everything we can. I suggested trying a new gene therapy technique I had developed for Carlos's condition. It was still an experimental method. Dr. Mitchell, said Dr. Hayes, this is very risky. If it fails,
It won't fail. This is the only chance for this child.
Carlos's surgery lasted 16 hours. We performed heart repair along with gene therapy. It was the first of its kind. The surgery was successful. Carlos's heart slowly began to heal. This case caused a huge stir in the medical world. It was featured on the cover of Time magazine, The Heart Whisperer: How Dr. Sarah Mitchell is Changing Medicine. At the beginning of 2023, I received the Young Investigator Award from the American Heart Association. This award is given to only one person each year. The award ceremony was in Las Vegas. My father and mother also came. It was the first time they had been at an award ceremony with me. As I walked onto the stage, I saw my father in the audience. He was crying. In my speech, I said this award is not just for me, it's for everyone who brought me here today, especially my family. After the ceremony, my father ran up to me and said, Sarah, I can't tell you how proud I am. Dad, you were part of this journey.
But I didn't support you.
You didn't, but that made me stronger. Achieving this despite your opposition makes it even more valuable. My father hugged me, crying, My smart girl, my doctor girl. After the award, I turned my attention to bigger projects. I received an invitation from the World Health Organization to set up heart surgery programs in developing countries.
My first project was in Colombia. I stayed in Bogota for a month, trained local doctors, and performed 20 surgeries.
I sent a video to my father. Dad, I'm saving children's lives here. My father replied with a video. Sarah, you are no longer just our pride and joy. You are the pride of the entire world. In the fall of 2023, I received some very important news. I received an email from the Nobel Committee. Dr. Mitchell, you have been nominated for the 2024 Nobel Prize in Medicine. Your work in gene therapy for heart disease will be evaluated. A Nobel nomination. It was an honor I could never have imagined. I immediately called my father, Dad, I've been nominated for the Nobel Prize. Silence on the phone, then sobs. Dad, are you crying? Sarah, my daughter, a Nobel nominee.
Dad? Sarah, what a stupid father I've been. You're a doctor who's changing the world, and I tried to hold you back.
Dad, the past is the past. No, Sarah, I want to apologize to you. Officially, sincerely. In late 2023, I received a worrying phone call from my mother. Sarah, something's wrong with your father. He's constantly tired and out of breath. What do you mean, Mom? Last week, he almost fainted while climbing the stairs. I took him to the doctor, but he said it was old age.
I was worried. Mom, take Dad to Johns Hopkins right away.
But Sarah, I didn't tell your father. He thought you couldn't be his doctor. Mom, I'll just examine him, then I'll refer him to my best colleagues.
The next day, my mother brought my father to the hospital. He looked very pale.
Sarah, you can't be my doctor, he said in a weak voice. Dad, I'll just do the initial tests. Then I'll hand him over to Dr. Anderson. We had my father's test done. EKG, echocardiogram, angiogram. The results weren't good. Dr. Anderson explained the results. Robert has 3 major coronary arteries that are severely blocked. He needs emergency bypass surgery. My world collapsed. My father had heart disease and needed emergency surgery. Jim, I said to Dr. Anderson, can you operate on my father?
Of course, Sarah, but this will be very difficult for you.
I know, but I have no other choice. We explained the situation to my father. He was in shock. How serious is it? It's serious, Dad, but Dr. Anderson is very experienced. You'll be fine.
Sarah, if anything happens,
Nothing will happen.
the night before the surgery, my father and I talked for a long time.
Sarah, if anything happens, know that I'm very sorry. I always misunderstood you.
Dad, this isn't the time to talk about the past.
No, Sarah. I'm going to talk. I was too hard on you when you were little. I told you you couldn't be a doctor, but you proved me wrong. These words touch me deeply. Dad, you've become a wonderful doctor, and I'm so proud of you. But I'm also scared. What are you scared of?
This surgery, if I die, I'll die regretting that I never supported you.
I started crying. Dad, you're not going to die. I won't let you.
Sarah, if there are complications, don't interfere with the surgery. It will be too emotional for you.
Okay, Dad. I promise. The next morning was the day of the surgery. As I took my dad to the operating room, he squeezed my hand,
Sarah, I love you so much. I love you too, Dad.
and I'm so proud of you. You're an amazing person. The surgery began. I was watching from the observation room. Dr. Anderson was very experienced, and I trusted him. The first hour went normally. The first bypass was complete. The second bypass was also successful. But in the third hour, something started to go wrong. My dad's blood pressure dropped. His heart rhythm was irregular.
Dr. Anderson, the situation is critical. His heart is about to stop.
I ran from the observation room. Jim, what's happening?
Sarah, your father has serious complications. His heart is very weak.
What can we do? Nothing is working. I'm thinking about putting him on ECMO, but it's very risky. At that moment, I remembered my father's words, don't interfere with the surgery. But I didn't want to lose my father. Jim, we're putting him on ECMO. I'll take responsibility. Are you sure, Sarah? This is a huge risk. I'm sure he's my father. Jim, we're putting him on ECMO. I'll take responsibility. Dr. Anderson looked uncertain. Sarah, are you sure? ECMO is very risky in this situation. If it fails,
Jim, he's my father. We have to do everything we can. My father's vital signs were critical. His heart had almost stopped. The ECMO machine would take over his heart's function and give him a chance to rest. But this technique was very complex and the risk of complications was high.
okay, Sarah, if that's what you want, we'll do it. But you need to leave the operating room.
This is going to be very emotional for you.
No, Jim. I'm staying here. I want to do everything I can for my father. At that moment, my father's words before the surgery came to mind. If there are complications, don't intervene. But could I just stand by because I had promised him? The ECMO procedure began. This technique involves taking blood from the body, oxygenating it through a machine, and returning it to the body. It would give his heart a chance to rest. Dr. Anderson's hands were very experienced, but I watched his every move. Anesthesia technician Mark, perfusionist Jennifer, cardiology consultant Dr. Rodriguez, they were all working for my father. Sarah, said Dr. Anderson, there's a pulse. The ECMO is working. I breathed easily for the first time, but he wasn't out of the woods yet. How long will he be on ECMO?
At least 48 hours. His heart will rest, and if it gets stronger, it will start working on its own. We took my father to intensive care. My mother was waiting in the hallway crying.
Sarah, what happened to your father? Mom, we had complications during the surgery. He's now connected to a special machine. His heart is resting.
Will he live?
It was very difficult to answer that question. We're doing everything we can, Mom. Your father is a strong man. I never left my father's side. The rhythmic sound of the ECMO machine, the beeps of the monitors, the familiar sounds of intensive care. But this time, the patient was someone else. It was my father. We checked his vitals every hour. Heart function, kidney function, brain activity, everything was critical. At midnight, Dr. Anderson came in. Sarah, go home and get some rest.
No, Jim, I'm staying here.
There's nothing you can do for your father right now. If you get exhausted, you won't be able to help him. He was right, but I didn't want to leave. What if he got worse suddenly? What if I wasn't there?
Jim, if there's any change at all, call me immediately.
I promise. When I got home, I couldn't sleep. I kept checking my phone at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. No calls. That could be good news. I returned to the hospital early in the morning. My father's condition had improved slightly. His heart function had improved a little. Sarah, said Karen, the intensive care nurse, there are positive developments with your father. His heart is trying to beat on its own.
This was wonderful news, so the decision to put him on ECMO was the right one.
I sat down next to my father. I held his hand. Dad, can you hear me? It's Sarah. You have to stay strong. You can't leave us.
I saw a slight movement in his eyelids. Could he hear me?
Dad, you told me I couldn't be a doctor. But now I'm your doctor, and I'm going to make you better.
The next afternoon, my mom and I sat in the hospital cafeteria. Sarah, my mom said, crying, I'm so sorry.
What are you sorry for, Mom?
I didn't always support you with your father. I always agreed with him.
Mom, that's in the past.
No, Sarah, I made mistakes too. When you were little, I always told your father Sarah won't make it because we thought it was too hard for girls to become doctors.
This confession was very painful. Mom, but you were wrong. You're a wonderful doctor, and now you're saving our father.
Mom, we're gonna get through this together as a family.
On the morning of the third day, there was a remarkable improvement. My father's heart was starting to get stronger. We could reduce the ECMO support. Sarah, said Dr. Anderson, your father's heart has started beating on its own. We're going to gradually reduce the ECMO.
What does that mean?
It means we made the right decision. His heart rested and grew stronger. Now it can do its job. This news was very hopeful. Maybe my father would survive. In the afternoon, we reduced the ECMO support to 50%. My father's heart was still beating strongly. Dad, I whispered in his ear, can you hear me? You're getting better. You just need to hang in there a little longer. This time, I was sure. His eyelids fluttered. On the evening of the fourth day, there was a tremendous improvement. My father opened his eyes.
The first thing he saw was me, his daughter, sitting next to him, holding his hand.
Sarah, he whispered. Yes, Dad, I'm here. Am I alive? My eyes filled with tears. Yes, Dad, you're alive. You're a very strong man. You save me? We saved you together, Dad. You fought and I helped. My father closed his eyes, then opened them again. Sarah, I'm sorry. Dad, now is not the time to talk about that. No, I will talk. I always looked down on you, but you saved me. You're a real doctor. On the fifth day, we turned off the ECMO completely. My father's heart was beating perfectly on its own. Robert, Dr. Anderson said to my father, you're a lucky man. Very few patients recover so well after such a serious heart attack.
Doctor, I'm lucky to have my daughter, my father said, looking at me.
Those words moved me deeply. On the sixth day, my father was moved to a regular room. He was stable now.
Sarah, my father said that evening, I need to talk to you.
Of course, Dad. I did you a great injustice. I didn't support you for years. I told you you couldn't be a doctor, but you proved me wrong. Dad, let's not talk about the past. No, Sarah, I'm officially apologizing. You're a wonderful doctor and I'm proud of you. My father stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. I visited him every day. The ice between us had completely melted. Sarah, he said one day, when you told me I couldn't be a doctor, I was actually afraid. What were you afraid of, Dad?
That you would fail, that you would be sad. I was trying to protect you, but it was the wrong way to protect me.
Yes, I understand now. You are my pride and joy, Sarah. Hearing those words was what I had been waiting for years. The day my father was discharged, I was writing his report. Dr. Mitchell, said Dr. Anderson, your father's case is very special. It's rare to come out of such a serious situation so well.
It's thanks to you, Jim.
No, Sarah, it's thanks to your decision to use ECMO. It was a brave decision. I had to do everything I could for my dad. That's what makes you a great doctor. Combining medical knowledge with compassion. My mom was waiting in the car when we took my dad home. Robert, she said, I made you a special dinner. Linda, I'm going to live a healthy life now. Sarah gave me a new life. After my father went home, he came in for regular checkups. He looked better with each visit. Sarah, he said during one checkup, I feel so different now.
How are you different, Dad?
Not just physically, but emotionally as well. You gave me a second chance. Dad, you were already a strong man.
No, Sarah, you are a strong doctor, and I'm a very lucky father.
My father's case was published in medical journals. The article titled Heart Surgeon Saves His Own Father attracted a lot of attention. Journalists wanted to interview me, but I didn't want to say much. Dr. Mitchell, said the public relations director at Johns Hopkins, this is a wonderful story. It gives people hope. Maybe you're right, but this is very special to me. In the end, I gave a short interview. This case showed me that medicine is not just science, it's also love. 3 months after the surgery, my father had completely recovered. But most importantly, our relationship had completely changed. We talked every week. He followed my successes, and I followed his health. Sarah, he said one day on the phone, do you know what the proudest moment of my life is? What is it, Dad? The day you operated on me. My daughter saved me. There can be no greater pride than that.
6 months after my father's surgery, I was given a big lecture at Johns Hopkins. It was a presentation on ethical approaches to treating family members.
I saw him in the back of the room. It was the first time he had ever attended one of my conferences.
After the presentation, he came up to me and said, Sarah, you're not just a great doctor, you're also a great teacher. Thank you, Dad. It means a lot to me that you're here.
I want to follow all your successes now. I want to make up for the years I missed.
After my father's recovery, I focused on new projects. I was researching the importance of family support in heart disease.
My article, Family Support and Recovery in Heart Disease, was published in the American Heart Journal. This article attracted a lot of attention because it included my own experience. Dr. Mitchell, a colleague, said, your experience is invaluable. The perspective of both a doctor and a patient's loved one is very rare.
I started mentoring medical students at Johns Hopkins. I focused on students who didn't have family support.
Dr. Mitchell, said one of my students, Jennifer Chen, my family doesn't support me becoming a doctor.
Why? They say it's too hard, too long. They want me to be an engineer.
This story sounded very familiar, Jennifer. What do you want? I want to be a doctor. I want to help people. Then go for it. You can be successful even without family support. I told Jennifer my story. She was very moved. I was spending time with my dad regularly now. One weekend, I took him on a tour of the hospital. Sarah, this is your kingdom, he said, pointing to the operating room. It's not a kingdom, Dad. It's a mission. You're right. You save lives here.
While we were sitting in the cafeteria, he said to me, Sarah, I want to confess something to you.
What is it, Dad? When you were little, you were actually very proud. But I was afraid. I was afraid you would fail. But I did succeed? Yes, you've been much more successful than I ever hoped. You've surpassed me. At the beginning of 2024, I had my annual evaluation at Johns Hopkins. Dr. Hayes announced the results. Sarah, you have performed exceptionally well this year, both in your scientific work and in your clinical achievements. Thank you, Dr. Hayes.
Your father's case was particularly impressive. It is a testament to both your medical skills and your character.
That case was very special to me. We would like to nominate you for the position of head of the cardiac surgery department.
This was huge news, becoming head of a department at 35.
I immediately called my father. Dad, I've been nominated for head of the department.
Really? My daughter is going to be head of the department? I'm just being nominated. I don't know if I'll be selected. Sarah, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. I believe in you.
It was time for my father's 1 year follow up appointment. All his tests were perfect. Robert, said Dr. Anderson, you're a new man. Your heart is 20 years younger. Dr. Anderson, I owe my daughter a new life, said my father. You fought hard too, Robert. You worked hard to get better. After the checkup, my father said to me, Sarah, I now see every day as a gift. You gave me that gift. Those words moved me deeply. In November 2024, I began my role as chair of the Department of Cardiovascular Surgery at Johns Hopkins. Reaching this position at the age of 35 was not only the realization of my own dreams, but also the strongest response I could give to my father's words, "You'll never be a doctor." At my first meeting, I told my team, this department will not just perform surgeries, it will also give hope. We will never see a patient without hope. Dr. Anderson, the experienced surgeon who would now be working under me, smiled and said, Sarah, you were born to be a leader. Your father's case proved it. The first week was very busy. Budget meetings, staff evaluations, reviewing research projects. But my most important job was evaluating hopeless cases. Just 2 weeks after becoming department head, a very special case came in. 6-month-old baby Hope, real name Emily Thompson, was born with a rare heart condition with only 12 known cases worldwide. Baby Hope's family had traveled across the country, receiving the same response everywhere. She cannot be operated on. They had come to Johns Hopkins as their last hope.
Her mother, Rachel Thompson, cried, Dr. Mitchell, Hope is our miracle baby. We've waited 5 years for her. Please give her a chance. Baby Hope's heart was so complex that it was completely outside the normal anatomy of the heart, but I wasn't going to give up.
Mrs. Thompson, this is a very difficult case, but it's not impossible. Give us some time and we'll make a plan. That evening, I called my father. Dad, there's a very difficult baby case. Everyone says it's impossible. Sarah, you're the doctor who makes the impossible possible. Don't forget that. But Dad, this is really difficult. Sarah, you saved me. A baby will be easy for you. That confidence meant a lot to me.
We spent 3 weeks planning for Baby Hope. We searched the world literature and studied similar cases. We consulted with pediatric heart surgeons, including Dr. Jennifer Walsh. We even had a video conference with Professor Davis from England. Dr. Mitchell, said Professor Davis, this case is truly unique, but it can be done with your technique.
When the plan was ready, we spoke with Baby Hope's family. This surgery will take 12-15 hours. The risks are very high, but if we don't do it, Hope has no chance. Her father Michael said, Dr. Mitchell, we trust you. Do whatever it takes for Hope.
When the day of the surgery arrived, the media was very interested. News headlines read, Miracle Baby Surgery at Johns Hopkins. As we took Baby Hope to the operating room, I thought about her tiny heart, a 6-month-old baby fighting for her life. The surgery began at 7 a.m. We had assembled a special team of 15 people, the most experienced anesthesiologist, the best perfusionist, the most qualified nurses. The first 4 hours were spent analyzing Baby Hope's heart. It was truly an unprecedented anatomy.
Dr. Mitchell, said my assistant, Dr. Park, how are we going to proceed? Step by step. We will make every move very carefully. At the 8th hour, we reached the most critical moment. We were reconstructing Baby Hope's heart. At this point, we had to stop her heart. The heart has stopped, said the perfusionist. Baby Hope is completely on life support. Now came the hardest part. We had to completely rearrange the internal structure of the heart. After 2 hours of the most critical part, the moment to restart the heart finally arrived.
We're restarting the heart, I said.
The first attempt failed. The second attempt also failed. Dr. Mitchell, what are we doing? Asked Dr. Anderson. At that moment, I remembered my father's surgery. His heart had started beating on the third attempt. Let's try one more time. On the third attempt, Baby Hope's heart started beating. We did it, shouted the entire team. Baby Hope's surgery lasted 14 hours. It was successful, but the recovery process was also very critical. She remained in intensive care for the first 48 hours. We monitored her every hour. Her heart function was perfect. On the third day, baby Hope opened her eyes. She saw her mother Rachel for the first time and smiled.
Dr. Mitchell, Rachel said tearfully, Hope is smiling. This is the first time I've seen her so alive.
That moment was priceless to me. Baby Hope's case made headlines around the world. It was featured on the cover of Nature Medicine, groundbreaking surgery for congenital heart disease. A week after Baby Hope's success, my father called, Sarah, I need to talk to you. Something important. What's wrong, Dad? Is it something about your health?
No, sweetheart, it's something much better.
My father came to Johns Hopkins. He was very excited as he sat in my office. Sarah, I've made a decision.
What kind of decision?
I want to establish a scholarship in your name. A scholarship? Yes, the Sarah Mitchell Cardiac Surgery Scholarship. It will be given to medical students who cannot receive family support.
This offer surprised me. Dad, that's a huge gesture. Sarah, I didn't support you for years. Now I want to support other students who don't have my support.
My eyes filled with tears. Dad, that's a wonderful idea. I've set aside $500,000 every year. 5 students will receive a full scholarship. This was the most meaningful gift I could ever receive. We launched the Sarah Mitchell Cardiac Surgery Scholarship Program with a big event at Johns Hopkins. My father said the following at the event. I didn't support my daughter becoming a doctor for years. That was the biggest mistake of my life. But she succeeded despite me. Now I want to support determined students like Sarah. There was loud applause from the audience. In my speech, I said, this scholarship is not just financial support. It is also a message that says, you can do it. No student who lacks family support is alone. We received over 500 applications for the scholarship program. We selected 5 students. 1. Maria Rodriguez, Mexican, parents are cleaning workers.
2. David Chen, Wine's Chinese. Parents did not want him to become a doctor.
3. Jennifer Washington, African American, only child. Ahmed Hassan, Syrian refugee. 5. Emily Parker, from a rural area, her family are farmer. Each of their stories was similar to mine. They were fighting on their own without family support.
At the first scholarship ceremony, my father spoke to each student. You are not Sarah's students, you are like my grandchildren. I support you. As department chair, I expanded research on gene therapy for heart disease. Baby Hope's case had opened new horizons for us.
We started joint research with Harvard, Stanford, and the Mayo Clinic. The project was called Gene Correction in Congenital Heart Disease. The project would last 3 years with a budget of $5 million. Our goal was to correct heart disease before birth using gene therapy.
Sarah, said my research partner Dr. Walsh, this project could change the history of medicine.
Jennifer, if we succeed, no baby will be born with heart disease in the future.
After my father recovered, he became very interested in charity work. He came to me with a new proposal.
Sarah, I want to open a clinic in a poor neighborhood in Chicago. What kind of clinic? It will provide free checkups for heart patients. You can go there once a month to perform surgeries. This offer was very meaningful. Dad, that's a wonderful idea. I'm in. Let's call it the Mitchell Heart Health Clinic. It will be named after you. No, Dad. Let's call it the Mitchell Family Clinic. This is our joint project.
The clinic we opened in Chicago attracted a lot of attention. In the first year, we examined 2,000 patients and performed 50 surgeries. The Baby Hope case and my gene therapy research made me well known internationally.
At the beginning of 2025, I received a very important offer from the World Health Organization.
Dr. Mitchell, we would like to appoint you as Global Heart Health Advisor. You will coordinate the fight against heart disease around the world.
This offer was huge. To be a WED advisor,
I talked to my father. Dad, I got an offer from the WHO, but that means a lot of traveling.
Sarah, you are no longer just our doctor. You are the world's doctor. Go and help everyone. In March 2025, I received an unexpected email. It was from the Nobel Committee. Dear Dr. Mitchell, you are a finalist for the 2025 Nobel Prize in Medicine. Your work on gene therapy for heart disease is being considered a Nobel finalist. I couldn't even imagine it. I immediately called my father. Dad, I'm a Nobel finalist. There was a long silence on the phone, then sobs.
Sarah, my daughter, a Nobel finalist. Dad, I haven't won yet. I'm just a finalist.
Sarah, you're already a Nobel laureate in my eyes. You saved me. You saved baby Hope. You saved thousands of people. The Nobel Prizes were to be announced in October. I was very excited that morning. The whole team had gathered at Johns Hopkins. My father was by my side. At 11:30, the phone rang. It was Stockholm calling. Dr. Sarah Mitchell?
Yes, this is she. Congratulations, you have won the 2025 Nobel Prize in Medicine.
There was a huge cheer in the room. Everyone was standing and applauding. My father ran over to me and hugged me, my Nobel Prize winning daughter.
That was the happiest moment of my life. In December, we went to Stockholm. My father, my mother, and we were at the Nobel ceremony as a family. Is this possible? I thought. 15 years ago, my father said, "You can't be a doctor," and now I was receiving the Nobel Prize.
As I received the award from King Gustav, I looked at my father. He was crying. In my speech, I said, "This award is not just mine. It belongs to everyone who gave me life and supported me, especially my father, who never left me alone." The audience gave me a standing ovation. After the Nobel ceremony, my father and I had a private dinner. Sarah, my father said, I want to confess something to you. What is it, Dad? When you were little, I was actually very proud of you, but I was afraid. That's why I was so strict with you. Dad, let's not talk about the past. No, Sarah, I am eternally grateful to you. You saved me, both physically and emotionally. Dad, you saved me too. Your opposition made me stronger.
Sarah, I am now your biggest fan, and I will be forever. After the Nobel Prize, I was offered many big projects. Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, the world's best universities were offering me jobs, but I decided to stay at Johns Hopkins because this is where my story began.
Dr. Mitchell, said the president of Johns Hopkins, we don't want to lose you.
Don't worry, I'm staying. There's more work to be done here.
The Johns Hopkins administration proposed establishing a research institute in my name, the Sarah Mitchell Heart Disease Research Institute.
This institute would coordinate heart disease research worldwide.
At the opening ceremony, my father said, this institute carries my daughter's spirit. Here, hope will be created and lives will be saved.
Today, it is 2034. I am 45 years old and still working at Johns Hopkins.
The gene therapy we developed at the Mitchell Institute is now a routine treatment. Thousands of babies are being born without heart disease.
Baby Hope is now 10 years old and completely healthy. She calls me Aunt Sarah.
My father is 73 years old and still very healthy. He comes to the hospital every week to talk to the students. The Sarah Mitchell Heart Surgery Scholarship has been awarded to 50 students so far. 20 of them have become doctors and the others are still studying. The Mitchell Family Clinic in Chicago has treated 20,000 patients. My story began with my father saying, you will never be a doc. Today, it continues with him saying, you are the best doctor in the world. This journey has shown me that sometimes the biggest obstacles can become the biggest motivators.
I want every young person who doesn't have family support to know you can do it too. You don't have to accept the limits that others set for you.
My father is now my biggest supporter. I'm proud of him not because he tried to hold me back, but because he finally understood me. And today, when I walk into the operating room, I still hear that little girl's voice, I'm going to be a doctor.
And I did.
At the beginning of my story, I asked, what if I can't do it? Now I know the right question was, what if I can?
And I did. Every day, a new patient, a new hope, a new success. This is my story. What will yours be?